After all the storm, Hung's love for Tieu Ca remains unchanged. But there is one big barrier that he has not been able to overcome. That is your father. Hung's father. Still not accept Tieu Ca. To Mr. Tieu Ca, she was just a divorced woman. Have children, but do not have a prestigious family background. He was worried that Hung would forget his reason because of love, and then regret it later. But Hung is not a person who gives up easily. He was determined to prove to his father that this love deserves to be accepted. One evening, Hung walked into his father's office, determined eyes. "Dad, I want to talk to you about Tieu Ca." He looked up with a serious look. "I told you it's not worthy of you." "Father, why do you think so?" He closed the book in his hand and spoke in a deep voice. "She is a broken woman with a child. I am the CEO of a large corporation. You deserve someone better." Hung took a deep breath to stay calm. Cha is looking into her past without looking at her current self. Past determines man, not the way one gets over the past. Who defines them? Father Hung was silent for a long time, then he sighed softly. "I don't want you to regret it. I will only regret it if I give her up." Know that words are not enough. Hung decided to let his father see his son with his own eyes. Real person of Tieu Ca. He took his father to the small market where Tieu Ca often sold goods. Father Hung stood from afar and saw a petite woman. Even though she was pregnant, she still persevered in earning a living and taking care of her child. Little Han ran to hug his mother, his eyes shining when he saw Hung. "Uncle Hung." Hung smiled and patted the boy's head. "Were you good today?" Zhao Han nodded. "Yes, Mom," I said. "Must be a good person to deserve love." Father Hung was startled. Turns out a woman once suffered because of love is teaching his son the best things. That evening, Hung's father called Hung to his office. "Are you really sure?" he asked, his voice not as firm as before. Hung nodded without hesitation. "Father and son have met many women, but no one makes me want to protect you for life like Tieu Ca." Father Hung looked at his son thoughtfully for a long time. Finally, he sighed. "Okay, if you've decided, I won't stop you anymore. But remember, love is not only a feeling, but also a responsibility." Hung smiled and bowed deeply to his father. "Thank you, Father. I will not let you down." When Hung told this news to Tieu Ca, she cried. Not for pain, but for happiness. "I used to think we will never get this acceptance." Hung hugged her gently. "I said as long as you don't give up, I won't give up." Tieu Han ran to hug both of them tightly. "So Mom and Uncle Hung will be with you forever, right?" Hung bent down and patted the boy's head, smiling. "That's right." Outside the window, the twinkling city lights, as a witness to a true love. A love that is not defeated by prejudice or challenge. Success until there is police officer by your side. After many difficulties, Hung not only kept his love, but also achieved great success in his career. With Zhao Ca by my side, he seemed to find a new motivation to break through. Love becomes inspiration. Since Tieu Ca Hung has changed a lot. I am no more is a cold CEO. Only know work and forget life. Instead, he knows how to balance work and family. Know how to appreciate small but meaningful moments. Tieu Ca is not only the woman he loves, but also a friend. Confident, always listens and shares everything with you. How was work today? She asked every night when he came home. There is a problem with the project, but he will find a way to solve it. I believe you can do it. But don't forget to eat dinner on time. Just a simple sentence. Also made Hung feel like all the pressure seemed to be halved. Major turning point in career. Thanks to the spiritual support of Tieu Ca, Hung decided to expand the group, invest in these areas, which he had never thought of before. He boldly invested in the sustainable wood industry, building an environmentally friendly production chain. With long-term vision, he cooperates with green businesses, create a breakthrough brand in the market. In just 2 years, Hung's group become one of the leading companies in development. His name is not only famous domestically, but also reaching out internationally. At a ceremony honoring outstanding young entrepreneurs, Hung stood on stage, clutching the prestigious trophy. Looking down at the audience, he saw Tieu Ca and Tieu Han smiling at him. That moment, I know that my success is not just in numbers or title, but also the family waiting for you below. Police Officer Ly, the woman who determines CEO Hung's success. Not only a solid rear, Tieu Ca also contributed significantly to Hung's success. With his acumen and understanding, she helped Hung realize the potential of the projects that he had previously overlooked. What do you think about expanding into foreign markets? Hung asked. If you want to succeed, first you have to understand what the customers there need. Simple saying, but is the key to help Hung orient a new strategy. Tieu Ca is not a businessman, but her acumen help Hung make better decisions. The most successful family, no matter how brilliant the career is, the thing that Hung cherishes most is still family. Every night when he comes home, he is no longer a busy CEO. You are a husband, a father who loves his wife and children with all his heart. Have stressful days at work, but just seeing Tieu Ca and Tieu Han, all fatigue disappears. One day, when the whole family was gathered around the dining table, little Han looked up at his father and asked, "Dad, you're so good because of Mom, right?" Hung laughed and held Tieu Ca's hand. "That's right. Without Mom and Dad, I wouldn't be where I am today." Little Ca smiled happily. Outside the window, sparkling city lights, as witness to a beautiful love, overcame all challenges to achieve success together. CEO Hung's complete happiness. Despite having achieved great success in his career, Hung still does not stop. But this time, his goal is not just to grow the company, but also to build a real home with Tieu Ca. Hung created a big surprise for the young policeman. One afternoon after work, Hung drove to pick up Tieu Ca and Tieu Han. He did not say clearly where he would take them, just told them. Today is a special day. I have a surprise for you. Tieu Ca was curious, but didn't ask much. When the car stopped in front of a small but cozy villa, she was surprised. This is Hung smiling, holding her hand, is our home. Tieu Ca looked at him with wide eyes, unable to believe what he said. I bought this house a long time ago, just waiting for today to take you there. I want this place to be our home. Tieu Ca was so moved that he was speechless. She looked at Tieu Han. See, your innocent eyes filled with joy. Little Han ran around the house shouting, "Is this your new house, Mom? Do you have your own room?" Hung laughed and picked the boy up. "Of course, what color room do you like? Just tell Dad." Seeing that scene, Tieu Ca could not hold back anymore. She hugged Hung tightly. "Thank you for everything." Dream wedding. Not long after that, Hung and Tieu Ca got married, although Father Hung had previously objected. But in the end, he also appeared on his son's big day. He looked at Tieu Ca without the stern gaze as before, but rather a recognition. Take good care of Hung. He is very stubborn, but once he loves someone, it will never change. Tieu Ca nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. I promise to always be by his side. Hung looked at that scene and his heart was filled with happiness. Their love was finally fully accepted. The party took place in a warm atmosphere. Zhao Han wears a tiny vest, trotted to hug Hung's leg. "Uncle Hung, what should I call you now?" Hung bent down and smiled gently, calling me Dad. Little Han hang up Dad. That moment, Hung feels like the happiest man in the world. Bright future. After the wedding, Tieu Ca officially became CEO Hung's wife. She is no longer just a struggling single mother, but had a loving husband and a real family. Hung continues his career, but now he has a solid foundation to move forward. Zhao Ca becomes the perfect rear. Help me have more motivation to develop the company more and more. Life is no longer days. Lonely and worried too. Now every morning, she wakes up with Hung by her side. One day, when Zhao Han was playing in the yard, Hung held Tieu Ca's hand and asked softly, "Are you happy?" Tieu Ca smiled and leaned her head on his shoulder. "With you by my side, I need nothing more." Hung hugged her and whispered, "Then stay with me forever." The sunset dyed the sky gold. A stormy story ended with a happy ending.